All right, so get ready because we're about to deep dive into something.
Oh, this is going to be good.
It might not sound super exciting at first,
Yeah.
but trust me, it's fascinating.
Oh, yeah, it's really cool stuff.
We're going to be talking about household economics.
You know, most people don't think about it this way,
Nope, they don't.
but it's super relevant to everyone.
Oh, for sure.
And we've got this awesome book to guide us.
Published way back in 1923
It's called Economics of the Household.
by Benjamin R. Andrews.
And let me tell you, this book,
It's like the OG,
yeah, the original, the foundation for how we think about
how we think about the economics of our homes.
even today.
Okay, so what exactly makes household economics so important?
Right. Is it just about, like, budgeting?
Yeah, is it just about, pinching pennies?
Well, it can definitely help with budgeting,
Sure.
but Andrews, he argues that it's so much bigger than that.
Okay.
He's making the case that this is a legitimate social science.
Whoa, wait a minute. Are you trying to tell me that my house is like a mini country?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With its own economic policies and everything.
All right, I'm listening.
So Andrews argues that there are these fundamental principles that govern
They govern what?
how we use resources in our home, how we make choices,
Choices about,
everything. What we buy, how we spend our time.
and he's saying this all ties back to economics.
Exactly. It's a whole system, like a mini economy under our own roof.
I never thought of it that way.
Most people don't.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Good.
So how did this whole idea of household economics even come about?
So get this, the concept actually has ancient roots.
Ancient roots.
Yep, we're talking ancient Greece.
Really?
You see the term economicus?
Economicus.
Yeah, it's Greek, and back then it referred to managing a household.
Interesting.
So managing all the resources, the agricultural stuff.
So it's all about keeping things running smoothly.
Exactly. And over time, this idea of economics kind of broadened. It expanded to include larger systems, like entire countries.
And global trade.
Yeah, all that stuff.
But it all started with the home.
That's right. The foundation of economics is right there in our homes.
So basically what we're doing right now.
What, talking about managing our homes?
Yeah. This is like the OG economics.
That's a great way to put it.
This is pretty cool.
It is. And just like there's economics for industries and nations,
There's economics for...
there's a whole field dedicated to the unique economic dynamics of
Wait for it.
where.
House.
Pretty neat, huh?
Pretty neat.
Okay, I'm starting to see things a little differently already.
That's what we're here for.
And it's not just about dollars and cents, is it?
Nope. It's not just about the money.
This book also digs into the human side of things.
The human side.
Right, like how our feelings and relationships play a role.
You got it. Andrews talks about how our homes are both workspaces
Workspaces, okay.
and the center of our personal lives.
It's all connected.
And he uses these two really interesting terms. Lay it on me.
He talks about housekeeping,
Housekeeping. All right.
which refers to all the productive work. Cooking, cleaning, all that stuff.
That has to get done.
Exactly. And then he talks about homemaking,
Okay, homemaking.
which is more about guiding the emotional life of the family.
Interesting.
So nurturing relationships, creating a sense of belonging.
Building that foundation.
You got it. And he stresses how these two things are intertwined.
Housekeeping and homemaking.
Exactly. How tangible and intangible values constantly interact within a household.
So he's saying there's this constant interplay between, like, the practical
The
stuff
practical stuff, the chores.
and the emotional core of a family.
Yeah. They both contribute to the overall well-being of the household.
That's deep.
It is. And once you start seeing it that way,
You start to see that.
you realize that even simple decisions, deciding who does the dishes.
Or how much time you spend with your kids.
Yeah, even those are economic decisions.
I never thought of it that way.
But they have real implications for the household.
That's fascinating.
It is.
So, okay, this is where I'm getting a little tripped up.
What's tripping you up?
Why does he use the word household economics?
Oh, that's a great question.
Why not just call it family economics?
You see, Andrews is very specific with his language.
Okay.
He says that family is just the people,
The people, right?
while home refers to the physical space.
The actual house.
But household,
Household,
that encompasses the entire picture.
the whole shebang.
Exactly. The people, the physical house, and all your belongings,
Melissa.
and all the activities that happen under one roof.
It's the whole ecosystem.
You got it.
The vibe, everything.
It's more than just the sum of its parts.
Okay, so it's not just the people or the place.
It's whole package.
It's like a system, right? A system with a purpose.
You're getting it. Anders really breaks down the structure and functions of a household.
Structure and functions.
And he does it in a way that's really clear and easy to understand.
Break it down for me.
So first you have the structure.
Structure. Okay.
Well, that's all the parts. The people, the possessions, all your stuff, and the physical space of the house.
So like the ingredients in a recipe?
Perfect analogy.
Okay, I like it.
And then you have the functions.
Functions.
And these are the reasons why a household exists.
The purpose behind it all.
Right. So you have biological functions.
Right.
Like raising a family.
Continuing the legacy.
Exactly. And then you have economic functions.
Economic functions within the household.
Yeah, like producing and consuming.
Okay, I see.
We produce things in our homes like meals, clean clothes.
Right.
And we consume things like food, energy, all sorts of stuff.
Makes sense.
And then you have social functions.
Social functions like
things like teaching kids values, building relationships.
Creating a sense of community.
Exactly. And all of these functions work together.
They're all intertwined.
To create this complex and dynamic system that we call a household.
Whoa, that's a lot going on under one roof.
There is. It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
You've blown my mind.
Glad I could help. It's making me realize.
Realize that.
My house is like this crazy dynamic system.
That's constantly juggling.
Juggling a million different things at once.
It's a lot to handle.
It is, but it's also pretty incredible.
And understanding how all those roles and functions interact.
Understanding how they all work together.
That's key to grasping the economic forces at play within our own homes.
You got it. So are you ready to dive deeper into those economic forces?
I think so.
All right, let's do it.
I'm ready to learn more about how this all works.
Excellent.
And maybe even get some tips on how to manage my own household's economy.
I think we can definitely do that.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see where this deep dive takes us.
Me too. This is going to be good.
Okay, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
The word budget,
Oh, yeah.
it kind of makes me want to,
No, right.
run and hide.
It can be scary.
But I'm ready to hear what Andrews has to say about it.
Right.
Maybe he can convince me it's not so bad.
Well, Andrews doesn't see a budget as this rigid, restrictive thing.
Right.
He actually views it as a tool.
A duel?
Yeah.
For what?
Oh, for a lot of things.
Right.
For being intentional with your resources.
Resources. Okay.
Whether that's money,
Yeah.
time, or even energy.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's about making conscious choices.
Conscious choices
About how you use your resources.
aligned with your values.
Exactly. It's not just about pinching pennies.
Right.
It's about making sure your spending aligns with what's important to you.
So it's like a roadmap for your household.
Yeah, I like that. A roadmap to help you reach your goals.
That makes sense.
And, Andrews really digs into the whole concept of income and expenses.
Income and expenses, the basics.
Yeah, but he goes beyond the basics.
He does.
He talks about how to allocate those resources effectively.
Effectively.
Reach your goals.
So it's not just about tracking where your money goes.
Nope.
It's about using that information to make smarter choices.
That's it.
What's fascinating is that he doesn't just focus on money.
Right. He brings in this other element.
Which is
Time.
time. Like how we spend our time.
Exactly. He talks about budgeting time just like you would budget money.
Wow, I never thought about it that way.
And energy, too.
Energy as well.
Yeah, he considers energy as a resource that needs to be managed.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
It does, doesn't it? We all have limited time and energy,
Yeah.
and we need to be mindful of how we're spending them.
I like how he brings those elements into the equation.
It's a holistic view of household economics.
It is. It's not just about the numbers.
It's about the whole picture.
The whole experience of running a household.
Exactly.
So it's like we're constantly making these little economic decisions throughout the day.
All the time.
Even if it's as simple as, who's
Yes.
doing the dishes
Yeah, or what we're having for dinner.
or how much time we spend with our kids.
All those little things add up.
And recognizing those decisions as economic choices.
That's a powerful first step
It really is.
because it gives you more control over how your household runs.
I'm starting to see the bigger picture here.
Good. That's what we're aiming for.
So it's not just about spreadsheets and bank statements.
Right. It's not just about crunching numbers.
It's about understanding the flow of resources within a home.
Yes. And how those resources impact everyone in the household.
This is making the whole concept a lot less intimidating.
I think so, too.
It's not this scary, overwhelming
Thing. It's more like a puzzle.
a puzzle
Yeah, where you're trying to fit all the pieces together.
to create a balanced and harmonious household.
Exactly.
This is good stuff.
But you're liking it.
And this leads us to another concept that Andrews explores.
What's that?
The cost of living.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Something we all deal with.
Oh, sure.
But he breaks it down in a way that really makes you think.
He really does.
Okay, so let's talk about the cost of living.
Let's do it.
Does he just mean like,
The price tag on everything.
yeah, like how much stuff costs?
It's more nuanced than that.
Okay, tell me more.
He breaks down the cost of living into these different categories.
Categories like
Food, housing, clothing, transportation.
healthcare, all that stuff.
You got it. But he also analyzes how those costs can change.
Chain based on
Based
a bunch of factors.
Like where you live.
Location, location, location.
Exactly. The cost of living in a big city is going to be different
Way different.
than the cost of living in a small town.
And how big your family is.
More mouths to feed, more expenses,
Right.
and even things like social norms.
Social norms. What do you mean by that?
Well, think about it.
Right.
If you live in a community where it's expected
Expected
to buy your kids the latest gadgets.
just because everyone else has them.
Exactly. That's a social factor that can impact your expenses.
That's a really good point.
It's all connected.
So the cost of living isn't just about the price of goods and services.
It's also about the social pressures and expectations that come with living in a particular place.
It's about understanding the context
Exactly. And Andrews argues that understanding the cost of living
in all its complexity,
is key to making good economic decisions,
not just for your household.
but also as a participant in the larger society.
I've always wondered about this.
What's that?
Is there a difference between the cost of living,
Yeah.
the standard of living?
Oh, that's a great question.
Are they the same thing?
They're related, but definitely not the same thing.
Okay, break it down for me.
So Andrews defines the standard of living as a measure of the quality of life within a household.
The quality of life.
It's not just about how much money you have.
So it's more than just income.
Exactly. It's about access to goods and services that improve well-being, like education, healthcare,
Leisure activities.
even having a safe and comfortable home.
It's about feeling secure and content.
Exactly.
So it's less about the dollar amount.
And more about what you can actually do with the resources you have.
Right, and how those resources contribute to your overall sense of well-being.
That's it. The standard of living captures the opportunities and choices available to a household.
This is making me rethink how I view my own household's finances.
Good. It's a different way of looking at things.
It's not just about staying in the black.
Avoiding debt.
Yeah, it's about strategically using resources to create the best possible life.
For yourself and your family?
This is eye-opening stuff.
It is.
But I'm curious, how does Andrews connect these individual household experiences to the larger economic picture?
He makes this really interesting argument.
What's that?
He says that households are like the building blocks of a larger economy.
The foundation.
Exactly. Our individual decisions about spending, working, consuming,
All those little choices we make.
they all add up and shape the overall economic landscape.
So our choices at home, even small ones,
Even the smallest decision.
can have ripple effects on a much bigger scale.
Absolutely. And that's why understanding household economics is so important.
It helps us see those connections.
And understand how our choices impact not just ourselves.
But the wider community as well?
It's all interconnected.
That's pretty amazing.
It is.
Now, I know Andrews' book dives into some pretty complex topics.
Oh, yeah. He gets into some deep stuff.
One that really caught my eye,
Which one?
his discussion of the economic cycle within a home.
Oh, that's a fascinating concept.
It sounds kind of like
Like those economic cycles we see in the news.
yeah, but on a smaller scale.
Exactly. He observed that households tend to go through these distinct stages.
Stages.
Yeah, throughout their lifespan.
Oh, interesting.
And these stages have their own unique economic dynamics.
So it's like a journey.
A journey through different economic phases.
What kind of phases are we talking about?
Well, there's an initial phase
The beginning.
where you're establishing the household.
Setting up the foundation.
Income might be lower during this phase.
You're just starting out.
You're focusing on getting your home set up.
Furnishing, getting all the essential
And then there's a period of expansion,
expansion. Okay.
often coinciding with starting a family.
Kids come into the picture.
Income may increase during this phase,
Hopefully.
but so do the expenses.
Oh, yeah. Kids are expensive.
They are. Diapers, clothes, childcare,
It all adds up.
and eventually
There's a period of contraction.
contraction, so things start to shrink again.
In a way, yeah.
How so?
While the kids grow up.
They get older,
Maybe they move out,
you become an empty nester.
and you start thinking about retirement.
Your income might go down.
And your expenses might change.
So you have to adjust your budget accordingly.
Exactly. It's all about adapting to the different stages of the household economic cycle.
Wow. It's like a mini economic roller coaster within each home.
It is.
Yeah.
But it's a roller coaster that you can prepare for
Prepare for.
by understanding these different phases.
And making smart decisions along the way.
I imagine each phase comes with its own set of financial challenges.
Challenges and opportunities.
True.
Did Andrews offer any advice on how to navigate these different stages?
I'm all ears.
He really stressed the importance of planning,
Planning for the future.
especially for those different phases.
Like retirement.
Yeah, saving for retirement when you're young
Even if you can only save a little.
can make a big difference later on.
It's like setting yourself up for success.
By recognizing the natural flow of income and expenses throughout life.
That's smart.
It's all about being proactive.
This is making me think about my own long-term financial planning.
Good. It's never too early to start planning.
But I'm also wondering, how do societal changes and trends impact this household economic cycle?
Oh, that's a great question.
After all, the world has changed drastically since Andrew's time.
It has.
So much has happened.
Technology has advanced. Social norms have shifted.
It's a whole new ballgame.
That's why it's so important to consider the context.
The
When we're applying Andrew's ideas to our lives today.
Okay, so let's unpack that.
Let's do it.
What are some of the key differences between the household economy of the 1920s?
And the world we live in today.
I'm ready to dive into that.
All right, let's explore those differences.
So much has changed. Like, where do we even begin?
Well, one of the biggest shifts is, the role of women
Yeah?
in society, right? Back in Andrew's time,
Back then,
it was just kind of assumed
Yeah.
that women would be the ones.
the primary
Yeah, the primary household managers.
taking care of everything.
But today, we see much more diverse family structures,
For sure.
and the responsibilities are split.
More evenly.
Yeah, much more evenly between partners.
That's a huge difference.
It is.
I bet that has, like, a massive impact on how we think about household income.
Oh, absolutely.
And who's doing what work.
And how decisions are made,
Yeah, it changes the whole dynamic.
Totally. And we also can't forget about
Oh, yeah.
the explosion of technology.
Technology has changed everything.
It really has. Think about online shopping, those meal kit delivery services.
Oh, yeah, those are game changers.
Right. Even just having a smartphone to manage your bank account.
It's also convenient.
It's transformed how we run our homes and handle our finances.
It's mind-blowing how much the world has changed.
I know. Even in just the past few decades.
So it sounds like Andrew's framework.
Yeah.
It's still useful,
Oh, definitely.
but we need to be careful about just, like...
About applying his ideas directly to our lives today.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, because the context is so different
We need to adapt his insights.
to fit our modern world.
So what are some of the biggest challenges facing households today
Okay, so challenges.
that maybe Andrews didn't anticipate?
That's a good question.
What are those things that, keep us up at night now?
Well, one major issue is
A big one.
the rising cost of living,
Ugh, don't even get me started.
especially for things like housing and
It's
healthcare.
crazy expensive.
It is. Try buying a house or paying for a doctor's visit these days.
It's tough,
It puts a huge strain on household budgets.
especially for families who aren't earning a ton of money.
Exactly. It's a real challenge.
And then there's the whole student loan debt situation.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one, too.
So many people are carrying so much debt.
It's a huge burden.
It makes it hard to save money, invest.
Even think about starting a family.
It's a lot to deal with.
And then on top of that, you have the changing nature of work.
The job market is so different now.
It is. The rise of the gig economy, remote work,
The decline of traditional pensions.
all of that creates a lot of uncertainty.
It's hard to predict the future.
Yeah, it makes planning for the future feel riskier.
It's a lot to juggle.
It is.
Yeah.
But even with all these complexities,
All these changes?
I think there are still valuable lessons we can take from Andrew's work.
Okay. What are some of those lessons?
Well, I think his emphasis on conscious decision-making.
Making intentional choices.
Yeah, that's more important than ever. We need to be aware of those economic factors at play in our own homes
Right? Understand how things work.
and make choices about how we spend our money, time, and energy
Choices
that
that
align with our values.
I like.
It's about being intentional.
This makes me think about how we often focus on earning more money,
Yeah.
but maybe we should also be thinking about how to better utilize
Utilize what we already have.
Yeah, the resources we already have.
That's a great point.
It's not always about having more.
Sometimes it's about being smarter with what you have.
Exactly, using what you have wisely and intentionally.
And recognizing the value of resources that don't have a price tag.
Resources
Like spending quality time with your family.
that's priceless.
It is. Or pursuing hobbies that bring you joy.
Those things contribute to our standard of living.
In a huge way.
It sounds like Andrews was ahead of his time.
He really was.
Yeah.
Recognizing the importance of the whole picture.
When it comes to household well-being.
He saw the interconnectedness of it all.
This has been an incredible deep dive.
It has.
I'm honestly seeing my own house in a whole new light.
That's what we were hoping for.
So, listeners, as you go about your day,
Think about.
take a moment to appreciate that intricate economic dance.
That's happening right under your roof.
Think about the choices you're making,
The resources you're managing.
the impact you're having.
Both within your family and in the wider world.
It's all connected.
And remember, even though our world looks very different from Andrew's time,
His core message still rings true.
it does.
Our individual choices within our households,
They have an impact on the larger economy.
our spending habits, the careers we choose,
The way we invest our money, it all adds up.
to something bigger than ourselves,
It's a powerful reminder that we're all connected.
even within our own individual homes.
And ultimately, Andrews's work reminds us that a home is more than just bricks and mortar,
It's a dynamic system, a microcosm of the larger economy.
and a place of immense significance.
Well said.
Thanks.
This deep dive has been truly eye-opening.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights.
And a newfound appreciation for the complexity of your own homes.
Until next time, keep exploring.
And keep the conversation going.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.
Bye, everyone.